Hello everyone. Welcome to my Genius Hour lesson plan. My focus question was, how do we strengthen collaboration and connectedness in our classrooms? I have made this a 3-part lesson plan. I have also made it for grade 3. My main curricular connection for this lesson is the social studies big idea that people from diverse cultures and societies share some common experiences and aspects of life. I chose to really focus on connectedness for this project, with the goal of connecting my students to students in other places. So I've tried to leave the whereabouts of those other places quite open because, of course, I'm sure we all agree that connecting our students to students in other areas across the world would be totally ideal. But maybe that doesn't work for everyone in their situation. So you could also use this lesson to connect to students in other parts of town or other towns or other provinces. I've decided to make this somewhat of a digital pen pal project using FlipGrid as our main source of communication. This first part of the lesson will start by simply brainstorming what we want to know about our digital pen pals. In my experience, kids, especially younger kids, need a lot of practice asking meaningful and helpful questions. So sometimes I find they can use a little bit of extra structure and scaffolding when it comes to creating questions of their own. To do this, we first brainstorm questions as a class, and I would write them all up on the board. From there, I would make a class anchor chart based on the questions the students have come up with. And the anchor chart, which I have attached a sample copy of, would be sort of used as a guide to help kind of guide them through creating their own questions. So my anchor chart that I've created looks like this. I have decided that we would probably focus on the what, who, the why, the when, and the how, and just fill in the blanks from here. Now, again, this is for grade 3s, so they may have lots of experience coming up with their own questions. They may not. I have prepared myself with the image in my mind that they do not have much experience asking questions. So for the final portion of part 1, I would have the students create little posters that they will use to sort of interview their pen pals, and these posters will also be sent to their digital pen pals. And the poster is kind of used to sum up everything they want their pen pal to know about them and everything they want to know about their digital pen pal. I have also uploaded this, but this is a sample copy of a poster that I did, pretending that I was a student in grade 3, and I choose to do welcome to, and then the name of our school. Here's a little bit about me, name, age, your likes, favorite thing to do at school, and favorite book. For questions about you, so what about you to your pen pal? What is your name? What is the best part about your school? What is your favorite subject? Do you have any hobbies? Do you like to play a sport? Is there a book that you really like? And is there anything else I should know about you? Students will then take their final copy of their poster and they will display it on FlipGrid to their digital pen pal. So that both gives their pen pal the opportunity to see facts and information about that student and also to hear the questions that that student has for them. And then from there, the digital pen pal can answer on the FlipGrid as well. So that gives them the opportunity to answer those questions that my students might have for them. As for the assessment of this poster, posters are something that my 2-3 class chooses to do quite often as a way to show their learning. And what we normally do before starting is we come up with a checklist as a class that we create. And I usually title it something like, a great poster has And then they give me ideas of what a great poster has, and we agree as a class that that is our checklist. That is what I will use to check off and see. And they know, they give awesome answers. They'll say, a great poster has big letters that you can read. A great poster has bright colors. A great poster has black outlining around the pictures. So I use the checklist that we've come up with as a class to kind of assess, have they gone through and have they done all these things? And I really encourage you to do that with your students as well. I find it is quite meaningful, especially at an age where a whole rubric might be a bit much for them to understand. It's a great way to involve your students in the assessment process. So I highly recommend doing a checklist, and I am attaching a sample copy of a checklist that I have done with my 2-3 class as well. The part 2 of this lesson would take place probably a few days, maybe even a week later, when students and their digital pen pals have had the opportunity to go back and forth a little bit over FlipGrid. This is assuming that my students will have their poster questions answered for the most part from their pen pals, and that their pen pals might have actually had a few questions for them. So after going back and forth a little bit on FlipGrid and getting to know their digital pen pal, through there, my students will come back into their classroom and we will get into groups, small groups of, I would say, about 4, maybe 5, and they will do 2 things. They will show their poster to their group, their finished copy. They will go over their side. They will talk about the questions they ask, and then they will also talk about the answers to their questions. So they're kind of introducing their digital pen pal to a small group in the class and showing that they put in some effort, that they got to know somebody else through FlipGrid, and that they were listening to the answers that this person gave them. Part 3 of this lesson could take place right away, or it could take place after months of communicating with their digital pen pal. It totally depends on how quickly you want to move this along or how long you want this to take place for. So in this final part of the lesson, students will compare and contrast their likes and interests to that of their pen pal. They will show this as an art project-like display that will be shown to both classes. And I thought it would be fun to make it a bit of an art project. We would create displays of things that we like, things that our pen pals like, and things that we both like. So a Venn diagram style display. So for example, in my poster, I put, I like animals, pizza, and baseball. I went ahead and made animal, pizza, baseball, and also candy. I like candy. And that would be my likes. And then I would go ahead and I would make the likes for my digital pen pal. So let's say they like soccer, they like donuts, and they like swimming. So I would go ahead and I would make a piece for soccer, I would make a piece for donuts, and I would make a piece for swimming. And then I would look at all my little pieces and I would go, okay, well, I don't like swimming. I'm gonna put that over there, that's on her side. But through talking to her, I know that we both love pizza. So pizza is going in the middle. Both of us like that. We both like animals, but I prefer cats and she prefers birds. So we might need to make a new piece, one for birds, one for cats, and one goes on each of our sides. My kids, they could choose to do this as a poster style again. They could choose to do it through plasticine. They could choose to do it kind of in whichever means or media that they prefer. The goal at the end here is to be able to see how people all over the place, we are different, we have different likes, and we have different dislikes, but we also have a lot of similarities. So to finish off and to connect back to my guiding question, I think that technology is a wonderful way to connect people from all over, and it shows us a lot of times that we are so much more alike than we sometimes think.